Westchester. Now, this has been divisive when this came out because some people are preparing for them to be Lexington 2.0 with all the flashy science. Can they put them together? Alex, they haven't lost anybody. So, do you mind giving us just basically the prepared starting 11 for this team?
Yeah. So JC Obregon up front, he was the runner-up for Golden Boot last year in the league with Charlotte. That was a massive get for them. They have let's see, I think our lineups are slightly different. Yeah, Jonathan Bolaños.
Yeah.
Jonathan Bolaños, that's another big one. He was massive with Richmond, had a very successful last 2 years in Huntsville. Joel Johnson, his reputation precedes him in Charlotte. Let's see, we got the Dutch duo there. I don't know very much about them. It was kind of hard to dig up more on them. Was that Bowman and Guzan? And then was that Connor McGlenn?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Noah Powder is on the team. Do you have him listed?
I've got him as
right wing.
He's going to play anywhere on the right. We know
he can
basically play wherever you need him.
And his brother is on the team as well. Samurai Powder. Who else do you? Kamar Lawrence. Stephen Payne. Stephen Payne on the right from Madison. That's another big one. And then we're going to have Dane Jaegerman in goal on loan from Loudon.
First off, I just want to throw it out there. I love the Jackman loan. I think he is class.
You just love those Loudon goalies, man.
I really do. They're always so good because they were always just being peppered with shots constantly. So, Eamon, this is a team that is loaded with talent, especially when you look at that front three. I mean, you mentioned the Omaha front three. This is what you would love to have, in my opinion. But my question for you is, how hard is it to be the expansion team? Like, how hard is it to build a culture from this, like, day one?
Yeah, look, it's really difficult, and it does take time. I mean, even the success stories of, you look last year, USL Championship with Rhode Island, obviously was a success story. But it took them, I remember at the start of the season, results were, up and down. It took them kind of second half of the season to figure things out. So it does take time. It does take time for the players and the chemistry to gel. Look, obviously the coach, Dave Carton, I know him well enough. But again, I know him as Dave when he was an assistant coach. He also done a lot with the academies in Charlotte as well. So stepping from an assistant coach into the head coaching position, it can be easy for some, and some may not. Some may struggle. So that's a question mark, obviously with a brand new franchise as well. But when you put all those players together, you can make an argument that group of players are the best on paper. You could easily, just like you did last year, just like we all did kind of look last year with Lexington, make an argument that on paper that was the strongest team. But again, it doesn't always work like that. You have, I mean, for instance, I'm just looking at this team and looking at what you have up there. Now, I think from what I'm told, Noah Powder is going to be looked at as a left back.
Interesting. Okay.
That's also where I had him.
Yeah, I looked at his brother now, and his brother was sent to me by an agent last year, and I actually spoke to Noah about his brother as a striker. He was a forward player, so that might flip around there. It's funny, I'm looking at that team, and in my 3 years at Northern Colorado, I tried to sign Bolaños, Obregon, and Johnson, and I had no Powder. So look, it is a really strong front three. And just to throw another one into the mix, I know a player that was training with Westchester. He didn't end up signing, but he was training with Westchester. And I asked him after how he got on and what did the team look like. And his opinion, and we're talking about somebody that's been in League One for he knows League One. Let's just say that he knows USL League One as well as anybody else. His opinion was that they are the strongest team in USL League One, and he thinks that that striker there, I'm assuming it's
Blomstein, yeah.
Blomstein,
yeah.
He told me, and this player's a forward, by the way, as well. He told me that he thinks he's going to be the Golden Boot this year. If things click for Westchester, he's going to be the Golden Boot. From what he saw, I think he was there for a week or 2 weeks. Now, again, do they go 4-4-2? Do they throw Obregon into the mix? Look, Obregon's going to get 10, 15. Who knows? He's going to get over 10 goals for sure. If you throw this Danish striker, or sorry, the Netherlands, the Dutch striker into the mix, and he gets a lot of goals. Look, Jonathan Balanos, I mean, he was one of the best wingers, if not the best winger, before he left USL League One from Richmond to go to Huntsville. So it's really strong in that front area. But again, from my conversations with this same guy and looking at the team, his worry, and would be my worry looking at it, or if I was coaching against this team, I'd be thinking, right, they're super talented in that forward line. They're going to create havoc. They're going to score goals. They're going to cause damage. How can we navigate that? But looking at that kind of defensive line, I don't know. There's unknowns there. I don't know much about any of. I mean, obviously Stephen Payne, we know. But for me, Stephen Payne's biggest strength is going forward. You know, again, creating stuff. So I would be looking at that team thinking, can we get at them? How strong are they? What will their midfield be like? There's, again, players there that are coming into the league. How will they adapt to it? So there's just too many question marks for me to say Westchester are going to be top three and it's all going to come together. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? 100%. I really do. I think the difference between them and Lexington was you have a coach who knows USL League One. Darren Powell obviously knows a lot, USL Championship, MLS Next, but it was his first time in USL League One. Dave Carton knows USL League One. Dave Carton has gone out and he's actually brought in players that have played in USL League One and done really well in USL League One. And I think that's massive. When you bring in just a load of USL Championship players, MLS Next guys, and even players abroad, that might be really strong. Again, USL League One is almost like a different animal at times from USL Championship, and I don't know if it works. I don't think it does. But bringing in the likes of a Stephen Payne, Noah Powder, Joel Johnson, Obregon, Balanos, who's played there. I mean, there's enough there that have played USL League One and know what it's about, and have been successful in USL League One. So this team is this team. I don't think they're going to struggle. I think they'll figure themselves out, and I think they'll be really strong. I don't think they're going to be top three, top four. I think they're, for me, you get 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere around that. They'll make playoffs, and then again, once they make playoffs, sure, anything can happen.
Alex, I want to ask you, because I mean, you saw him forever. For my money's worth, Bolaños back into League One is one of the best signings across all of the USL Championship or League One. What does he provide? Because it's been a few years since League One fans have seen and feared this guy.
He's a menace on the wing. He can create chances and convert assists. He's just, I don't know how to explain it other than that.
For me, Alex, I mean, and obviously you know more than me. Well, I mean, I played against him, coached against him. For me, the biggest thing that he brings, and you saw from his first couple of years to his last year before he departed Richmond was, and I actually looked at him and looked at maybe even bringing him in on loan from Huntsville, but he's effective, man. Goals, assists, like he is a winger. Yes, he's quick, he's tricky, but he is effective. Like his goals and his assists, the numbers there are really, really good, really good.
John, I want to ask you, and it's where I'm seeing my personal biggest, not fear, but question mark, and it's at the base of that midfield with McGlynn. We saw what he was in Hartford and then what he was in Rhode Island, which is not much. And was that his fault? Not really. It was a talented roster. But it's not like League One is just a retirement home league. This is a good league. From what you did see from him from his last year in the championship, do you think he can hold up in a even more competitive setting?
Yeah, I mean, I would push back. I really rate McGlynn quite highly. I think he is good on the ball, especially in the context of when he's used in central defense. I think he is pretty solid when he's under the face of pressure. In the defensive midfield, good about setting the tempo. He's somebody that, depending on whether Rishi Tete and Andrew Jean-Baptiste can find their chemistry at the back, you could easily see him slotting into the defensive line and just being the stability guy who knows the USL, who's been experienced as a starter in recent memory. I think Rhode Island and the way that Kano set that team up just because it kind of wasn't set up for McGlynn to succeed. And especially when the midfield three really cemented itself so strongly from the get-go. Yeah, he's somebody who I think is fantastic. And if there's a question mark for me, it's not McGlynn. It's kind of everything else that's going on in that back half.